Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 39 of Malt Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylin. We've had an interesting couple of weeks, so I will leave it to my players to see how this week goes. Maybe we'll have a nice, relaxing episode. Does that ever happen in Malt Magic? No. Anyway, let's get through the thank yous and the shout outs before we get into the episode. So as always, a huge thank you to the tools we use, to Hero Forge, to Tabletop Audio for the music and some of the ambience, to D&D Beyond for just general game management, to the patrons or Patreon accounts that we follow, so Kasoon, 5e Magic Shop, but also a huge shout out to Incarnate and Owlbear Rodeo for the mapping. And Virtual Tabletop, they've been awesome over the last few weeks. Incarnate's got new watercolour battle maps, which I am thoroughly enjoying. They remind me of sort of the old, they remind me of the more traditional battle maps you get in the D&D source books and stuff like that, so that's really cool. As always, I need to give a huge shout out to Battle Bards as well for all the sound effects that you hear on our show. It is Battle Bards we use. If you would like to get your own sound effects or get a discount off this sound effects, please go give Battle Bards a checkout, go sign up and use the code you see on screen. That will get you that cheeky discount, and it's just a thank you from us to you on behalf of Battle Bards. Please go check out the website, but more importantly, if you want to catch up on the past episodes, please go check out the podcast as well. We are fully up to date, properly fully up to date as well. So this episode that you're listening to or watching right now will release the same time we do the YouTube release. If you're listening to this on the podcast, hello, thank you for supporting us. We love you all. I also need to give a shout out to, there might as well be our sister D&D stream at this point somehow, I think. Tales of Teal'nar, really, really good fun. Sounds like the latest episode as well is going to be a doozy, so I look forward to that one when it releases. I think that's it for tonight. Let's get into it fairly quickly. So as always, my usual warnings do apply. There is adult language, there will be a lot of adult humour, maybe not quite timed as right as it should be tonight. We'll see what happens, but with that, let's go. Hello.
Hello.
How are we all doing?
I've just realised I need my laptop charger and the battery's quite low, so I've sent an SOS out.
so, well, I'll let you go run and get that. We'll do a bit of a recap in that time. Everybody else okay?
Yeah, very good. Very interesting.
I know Smal's going to be pretty tired.
Yeah. 5 hour session last night, so that was fun.
I am
D&D,
thoroughly looking forward to that
he's
one.
not a tantric shagmaster, but just put it out.
You don't know that.
Well, that's true. Actually, we've never slept together. That is very true.
Can we stop that conversation, please, right now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
This is why we can't play in person, because the sexual chemistry is too strong.
That's my little sister, mate. That's my little sister.
Samel's like a little sister.
Good
I
stuff.
can flirt with him.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, running down the line, I am your Dungeon Master. I'm Matt. I also play the psychic character of Bothrid, who is the chef, now officially, as of last week.
That's such a cool add-on, that is.
That's it. Your weapons are just going to have to be spatulas and wooden spoons from now on.
Oh my god, yeah. Please.
Brings out a frying pan. Dong.
I am Danny and I play Ander Hornraven. I'll probably just be a burden for most of this session, emotionally and physically.
I'm Simao. I play Kirik, the cleric. So, no joke from me tonight. I'm too tired.
That's all you're getting, folks.
Give me 5 minutes.
I'm Dave. I play Dargon, the Goliath fighter, warlock, and at least I'm not the only one who has the emotional range of a teaspoon anymore. Hey.
It's the fact that Anders said he was going to be a mental and physical burden. I was going to say what's new, but
yeah, I'm a liability usually, not a burden.
This is true. So last week we faced off against the strange creature in the marble, as it was called. Faced off against the sphere. After a strange series of dreams experienced by Ander, and those dreams certainly took their toll, there was some very, very good rolling from Mr. Hornraven there, who managed to avoid the brunt of the effect, shall we say. But
he's also just rolled a 32 stealth, by the way.
He has just rolled a 32 stealth. Let them go. Straight out there. But yeah, there was some potentially damaging character effects there that could have resulted in Anders' death, to be brutally honest. So yeah, some good rolls from our resident rogue there, and then we moved into a very brief conversation with Lord Aerith. As Ander rolls a nat 1 on his stealth this time. But yeah, I had a brief conversation with Lord Aerith and pretty much just entered into combat. Discovered that Aerith was more of a conjurer than a fighter, although he did have some tricks up his sleeve. Ended up then having to deal with a fire elemental, dealt with that. But in the process, Kirik was struck with power word pain, which crippled him for quite a portion of that fight. And we pretty much left off with Dargon carrying Kirik back to one of the rooms, laying him down, Kirik overcoming that pain. And yeah, that is where we begin today's episode.
Totally professionalism from me there. Sorry,
that was perfect. I mean, that was amazing.
Did the job. Did the job. You've got your charger, you're all plugged in. We can play D&D now. So, what are we doing?
Where are we all?
All in one bedroom, kind of staring at Kirik at this point.
You good, Kirik?
Yeah, I think whatever that effect was is certainly gone by now. But I think if we carry on, well, could do with the breather. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Shall we depart to that study that we saw? Sit down, have a chat, see what the bloody hell's wrong with Ander.
Absolutely.
There is nothing wrong with me.
Beg to differ, Ander. Come with me.
I mean, I have emotional baggage, but I hide it quite well.
Yeah, you're hiding it a little too well at the moment. Something's definitely wrong with you.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, but you are my friend. I trust you.
Cool. We'll get you sorted, mate. Don't you worry.
If Kirik is fine now, can we find more things to explore? Can we explore the house? I don't know why I forgot all the words in the English language just then.
I don't know.
It's wisdom, mate. That's it. It's your wisdom.
Anymore.
He intelligence.
Yeah. I think
we don't know what Anders' intelligence is, but we know what Danny's is.
Fucking hell.
More whiskey down your neck, mate.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, you head into the study.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
so
go and have a look around in a minute, and let's just take a breather after what the hell that just happened then.
At least there'll be no
Okay,
more
so
traps now.
you enter the study, and you can see where the sort of the biggish sofa, as a side to the two armchairs, that is quite ruffled up now. There's a bit of dirt on it from where Bothrid was laid. None of you having really had any sort of bath or anything in a while. And yeah, you see a fireplace against the far wall. There are these two quite large bookshelves, which are pretty much floor to ceiling. And then just in the middle, just this rug. And that's all you see in this room.
Do we think he's gone, guys?
Who?
Did you say that the walls didn't have any more magic, Matt? Is that something you said, or am I
So
imagining that?
last week, when Dargon used his detect magic, the whitewash effect that he was getting from the walls is gone.
I think I did remember saying that as well.
Well, he seemed to have been captured, so I would imagine that he's gone. I don't think he's as powerful as a deity, so we should be fine.
Did we all see and hear that the Raven Queen sort of bit then back in that fight?
That was just for Kirik, I believe.
Cool. Yeah, well, he kind of buggered off up to the ceiling and then just vanished. So I was just hoping he wasn't like in the walls now or something.
No, there was definitely a presence that I saw. I thought you would have seen it as well, but perhaps she only revealed herself to my eyes. But she descended upon the wall, the ceiling, and essentially consumed the essence of Lord Aerith that was travelling around.
That is quite the relief to hear that. Well, I suppose then that we can go and look around.
Yes, books are boring. I want to go somewhere else.
I'm going to go do cooking, big kitchen.
Hey, Bothridge, fill your boots. Go for it. Yeah. Go for
Bothrid
it.
disappears off to go partake in one of his favourite pastimes.
One less NPC to worry about for a minute.
Hey, where's Feltag? Let's bring the other one in.
Well, Feltag had popped his head round previously, and Feltag now has sort of just followed you, and he's sort of looking around the room. So, what next?
That is a very
Any
good
more
question.
houses?
I think we're heading upstairs.
Oh, upstairs. Yes. Well, I suppose.
Yes, I would like to explore.
Okay. So you leave this room and you're going upstairs?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. So the four of you now, as Bothrid just hangs around downstairs, ascend this staircase, and it's two sets of stairs that sort of come up and then meet in the middle as you get to the top of the first landing. And the stairs are sort of lined with this plush carpet which extends out onto the landing for a distance and then stops, and it goes back to the wooden flooring similar to what was downstairs. The first thing you see as you come up the top of these stairs is two very colourful plants in pots just sat there, and then it looks like there is a set of double doors which lead out somewhere immediately in front of you. There is also a landing which goes around behind you.
Do I recognise the plants? Species of plants,
Make
type
me
of
a
plant?
nature check, please.
Good luck.
I love the fact that you know the stats that well. There are plants.
Nope, not a clue. They're just very brightly coloured plants. You've arguably not come across these at all in your travels.
I'll take a leaf off and eat it.
No. We don't know what they are.
So, Kirik, you're stopping him?
I'll attempt.
Make me... I'm going to say make me... what do I want to do for this one?
I love the fact that Anders still the mischievous bugger, even though he isn't intended
I'm
to be.
literally, yeah, I'm
I'm going to say make me an
athletics.
athletics check. Or an no, let's say athletics, just to try and get there quick enough to stop his hand.
Athletics. 15.
15. And make me a straight dex check, please.
I've rolled 2 1s in a row. 5.
5. So just as you go to raise the leaf to your mouth, Kirik just catches your hand.
Why does your face look concerned?
Because I am concerned about you, about whatever it is that is going on with you. There's something that happened last night that none of us have really been able to figure out what is. Obviously, we were trying to take care of Lord Aerith, but I couldn't also help but notice that you were fighting almost like you had a hand tied behind your back. I don't think you're quite yourself.
I have both hands available.
I know. You weren't
I'm
using
not
them.
following.
If I move away from this conversation, cast Detect Magic and look around to any doors along the... What did you say? It was like a balcony sort of landing.
So there's, as you've come up this double set of stairs onto the landing, there is 2 doors, or a set of double doors immediately in front of you, but you know that the landing extends behind you, and behind you is sort of back into the house.
Yeah.
Whereas these double doors are sort of in a similar place to where the entrance hall bit was, but you're 1 level up.
Yeah. So, looking around, are there any more doors behind me apart from these double doors that we see?
There are a lot of doors behind you, so as you sort of turn around, you see that the landing itself, you actually have to walk around. There's only one way around this landing. The first door, as you sort of walk around, is just a single door on your left hand side as you now walk around this landing, and you now notice that there are these 2 statues that are of a robed figure, both sort of mirror images of each other, robed figure with a hood sort of half up on their head and a staff held out, and they're just sort of in a casting pose, if you like, either side of the hole down to the lower level, if you like, where the stairs have come up. The gallery, I suppose, if you want to call it that, gallery landing. You then, as you come further round, you see another single door on your left hand side, and then a further single door on your left hand side before you then meet a wall. As you follow it further round, there is an opening, and as you look inside this opening, there is just a simple table atop a rug with 4 armchairs in there. Nothing else in that room.
Okay.
Following it further round, there is another door in the far corner, or the corner of this area, and then you've got the one last side of the square, if you like. As you come all the way down to the bottom of that, there's another single door. And that is it for doors.
And walls and doors, no magic auras out of any of them.
So as you're walking round, the first door that you come to...
With the statues either side.
No. So the statues, were sort of further... They're at the two corners of the gallery landing.
Cool. Yeah.
So this first door that you come to is sort of only just past the top of the stairs on your left-hand side. And as you look at it, there is a distinct green aura around it. But also what looks like some blue.
Yeah. That's the first one. There are 3 on this side, aren't there?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 on this side, and then effectively 2 on the other side.
Yeah. And an open area at the back where we saw table
Just a
chairs.
simple table and 4 chairs, 4 plush chairs, pushed away from the table, I should say.
Yeah, cool. Any of the other doors giving off anything?
Nope.
Cool. This first one's magical, lads, but the others seem alright. Try that one first, or lads?
Is Kirik still holding my arm at this point? Or has he let go now? Dagon started talking to him.
Probably would let go.
I'm also just talking back to you, like leaving you with your conversation sort of thing.
Okay. Because I have the emotional range of a 3-year-old, and I don't have the wisdom to heed as soon as he lets go and turns around, I'll eat the leaf.
Okay. Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Boom! Because Ander is petty as shit, but obviously he doesn't have the wisdom to take anyone's advice, so he will be super petty. Right. Constitution saving throw. 7.
7.
I'm rolling like an
So the
absolute
minute this-
demon tonight.
Leaf touches your tongue, you can feel a tingle and then a burn, and then you just swallow, and that burn goes all the way down, and almost as it hits your stomach the next minute it just, and you throw up on the spot. You said you rolled a 7, didn't you? So you are going to take... You got away with that one. 1 point of poison damage.
Oh, well, that was unexpected.
Was
Didn't
it?
see that coming. Yes, it was.
How about you
Right.
follow some
Remind me
advice
not.
for a change, Ander?
Maybe I only eat leaves that Kirik, no, Bothrid gives me.
Sounds a bloody good idea.
Hmm.
So lads,
Indeed.
magical door number 1, or one of the others? What do you think?
What's coming out of the magical door?
Looks like it's enchanted and looks like it could conjure something. Not really surprised now that we know that what's his face magical orb of nonsense was able to conjure stuff out of nowhere. I'm guessing it's his favourite time.
I choose this door, and I'll go to grab the handle.
No. Can I stop him this time?
I mean,
Are you
athletics
noticing a
check to grab
pattern of
Anders'
my
hand.
behaviour? Smells like I'm too tired for this shit.
Yeah, it's a 22.
22. I'm going to say, Ander, make me an athletics check in this case
Go on.
to get there.
4.
4. So before your
You're
hand even
rolling
touches
well
their dog, and it's
tonight.
just there. And I'm assuming from Dargon there's a little bit of a squeeze.
I was about to say, yeah, and then Right,
I
and
can't feel my fingers.
yeah, no, you can't. I'm going to hold the back of your scruff of your neck. You have no choice about this. I just
Why are
grab
you
him
frowning?
and just hold him.
So my feet just dangling now. Is that what's happening?
No, you're
I think you've sort of just been pulled back a bit, and
Yeah.
now you've got just this big Goliath hand on the back of your neck, just applying gentle pressure.
Dargon, is anything
now.
unusual coming out of Ander in terms of magic?
Oh, sure. Ander. Alright, twist him round.
And as you look at Ander, his body, obviously there is the distinct green that envelops him anyway, because of all the enchanted items he has.
Yeah.
But as you look at his face appears normal. No magic. Or as normal as Ander's face can appear.
Nah, it looks the
you
same
see
ugly
my
mug as usual.
animal magnetism.
No, ain't strange. Apart from his face.
You keep looking at me weird, guys. I don't understand why.
Yeah, the fact that you don't understand why is the problem.
Everybody seems rather tetchy today.
Yeah, Feltag, you haven't heard
Should we
of
try
any...
some doors?
Yeah, fuck it.
A long morning.
That's what I wanted to do, but Dargon wouldn't let me.
Shall we just kick it?
Has it been a long morning?
No, it's about 15 minutes
Well,
after
I mean,
we woke
if you
up.
need somebody to test a door even, then I'm quite happy to.
Well, by all means. I will drag Ander back up the landing, so away from the stairs.
Bear with me.
I think a construct is about to
pull
hit
up.
the other side of the landing.
Feltag's character sheet.
Can't decide if Danny's loving this or hating having to play Ander like this.
I'm
loving
just
it.
waiting. I'm essentially playing my own child at this point.
Oh my god, that's going down as a memory, that is.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for you to actually snap, like, fucking hell, you're so annoying, stop it! Just like knock me out and put me in one of them like baby holders. So I'm just sat on the front of Dargon.
No, probably I'm
Like a
gonna
baby holder.
probably would find a closet. Go, it's a closet, great. Open it, shove Ander in, close it, and just go right. Breather.
I've got a hold person.
Hey.
That's
There
a
we
wisdom
go.
save, so.
Do it.
Okay, so as Feltag sort of steps up and sort of looks at the door and says, looks back at you, it's just a door. I don't know what all the suspicion is about. Puts his hand on the door handle and goes to turn. There is a distinct hum of energy. Just... I need everybody to make me a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh fuck.
Charisma saving. Thanks, Matt. I'm glad it was charisma.
Natural
Oh,
20.
no, it's double-digit number. Double-digit number. Still really shit then.
That's
A 12
an
for
11.
me. Oh.
A 21.
Okay. Dargon, you watch as Kirik, Ander, and Feltag, in
I
a
am-
flash of blinding lights, are gone.
Oh, fuck.
Oh fuck. Bearing in mind that I was holding Ander.
Ander is just gone from your hand. Kirik, Ander, and Feltag. As that flash sort of subsides, you now look around you, and everything is dark. Very dark.
I'll put my night goggles on.
And as you put
Does that
your
make a difference?
goggles down, only a slight difference. And you find yourselves now stood on a partially destroyed landing of a pretty much demolished building. And as you look around, the sky is dark. There is just blackish dirt around everywhere. You can see an ocean out beyond, just inky black, and not much else but this just darkness.
Do I recognize this place? Have I heard about it?
Make me a history check or a nature check, please. In fact, no, scratch that. It's going to be a history check.
18.
You, looking around and taking in the sights, taking in the sort of feel of this place, worry would instantly hit you as you recognise you are no longer on the material plane. This very much looks like what you have heard about, referred to as the Shadowfell, or the plane of shadows.
Not good.
I would assume that because I have a similar spell that does this type of thing on my spell list, I would recognize it. What just happened? I have banishment on my spell list.
Make me an Arcana check. I'll say with
10.
advantage.
Oh,
Do it with advantage, seeing as it is on your
much
spell.
better. 21.
Oh,
Yeah. So it is a banishment sort of spell. It's not strictly banishment, but you do recognise it as a similar sort of spell. It's that planar shift type magic, moving people from one plane to another.
Do I recognise this place from any of my dreams?
No.
Okay.
Feltag looks around. Is this where the door leads then?
No, I think we've just been tossed around across planes. I'm not entirely sure what to do.
Cross planes,
I
you say?
haven't got sending.
wouldn't work.
There's a chance.
No, there's no point me using my sending stone because Dagon hasn't got it anymore, has he? Thunderbolt's got it. Bugger.
Meanwhile, back in the house, Balthric,
What?
come up here, will ya?
Where did the guys go? They go through the door?
They touched. Well, no. Feltag touched the door, and 3 of them disappeared in a blinding light. So,
Well,
should we follow?
where did they go?
Fucking no idea.
Well, I mean, I do wibbly wobbly magic, I don't know.
Oh. What about if you stick around and look after the ass?
Well, you be
And
okay?
well, if it all killed them, then balls. It's about to kill me, and I suppose you've got a house. If not, we'll see you soon. How about that?
Oh, no, not like that. My family.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we can go find them, bring them back.
I'll follow you.
All right, then. I'll touch the door.
Okay.
I go open the
I'll
door.
say because you are willing, you are. And the rest of the party, they're just in this. You see Dargon appear. There's no way Bothrid can
you've
make
come
this
to
save.
bring us back.
Bothrid
What
then.
did you do?
Oh,
Whoa.
well, first answer, you're not all dead and neither are we. Thank fuck for that. Where the fuck are we?
Well,
So
this
you don't.
this looks like the Shadowfell, and now we have no way of going back.
Oh, isn't the Shadowfell where the vampires came from?
Sure is.
So at least we know somebody who may be able to help us get back.
Don't know about that.
I may not have thought that through, then. Sorry, Bothrid.
Is there any doors? We came through a door. There's not now a door behind us.
You're
not
just on
like
this
a door
destroyed landing.
Okay. It's not like monsters in there.
There's no door frame. You're literally just on this destroyed landing. It's almost like it's just propped up with the stairs, and the building around it has just fallen down.
Dargon's anything here ringing any bells? I'll toss up a Eyes of the Grave just to check some stuff out.
I haven't taken any damage, so I should still have Detect Magic up if there's anything. And
You can see nothing with Detect Magic currently.
do I recognise the place at all? Does it look like a replication of the house we were just in? Or maybe even the castle that we saw on the island of the dead?
Make me a perception check, please.
A perception check. Oh, that's nice. That's 23.
23. So as you look around, the layout that you can sort of get from the house looks very similar. The positioning of the broken down house on the near to the coastline at least looks very familiar, and as you turn and peer through the shadow, and you all see this now, you do see what looks like a city in the direction of where River's End of Fearduin was. The walls, however, are vastly different. Not that smooth elven architecture, but jagged, menacing, black-looking walls, very similar architecture to the towers that you can see from behind those walls. But everything is just dark, shadowy.
Forgive me, guys, but if I were to say that we were back in that mansion and I was looking in that direction, I would say I'll be able to see River's End, and I can see something that looks like the arse end of River's End. Fuck is this place? We're in some sort of mirror place. Horrible mirror, mind.
Speak
I'm not
for
quite sure if
yourself.
that's the case. I'm not quite sure if that's the case, or if we've just been launched into something.
I check for
So-
where the door was, sort of putting my hands up to see if there's something there.
You filmed
If we are in the Shadowfell again, if we escape, will we end up back on the Isle of the Dead, where the portal was?
Wow. What if we went to that island here, Could we get out?
But there was a Darakul, if I'm remembering correctly, a creature guarding it, so we might not be able to get out.
We would also be we'd also be
getting
on
out on the island.
Yeah.
Does my
don't want to do
Eyes of the
that.
Grave pick up anything?
The range on that is
60 feet.
nothing.
Well, at least we're alone from undead.
Do we go to the city and ask for help? I could put my hood up and pretend to be the Eladrin.
Is the Eladrin from here?
I don't know. I just thought this place looks evil. He's evil. That's as far as my thinking went.
Kirik, do you know much of the Shadowfell? As you're calling it.
A little bit. It's place of origin of many things that we don't want to find. But I also don't know that if whatever sent us here on a timing basis, or if it's just where we are now.
Okay. Shall we wait? Or do we try and get out of here as quick as possible?
I suggest we wait.
Looking around in the ruins of this house, or if you just say it's a staircase or something or whatever, is there anywhere we could hunker down?
So the way the staircase is, you reckon you could probably get some shelter from underneath? I mean, it's dry. There's no rain at the minute or anything.
Yeah, it was
like
more
that.
about
It's just
not being seen as a silhouette on top of a staircase. I feel a little exposed up here, guys.
Why can't we just ask for help? We speak. Well, I think we all speak the language of this place. Would Ander know that, actually? Would he know that? Well, he speaks a bit, so would he know that might help? Is that intelligence or is that wisdom?
That's going to be an intelligence check, please.
Okay. 8.
8. You are simply guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will start walking down the stairs to underneath or next to the stairs. Sit down and keep an eye out. If anyone else is doing anything.
Those of you still at the top of the stairs, make me an Arcana check, please.
Ooh. Oh, for fuck's sake. 13. I'm going to switch to different dice in a minute if I get below
19.
Okay. Kirik, as you go to walk down the stairs, you sort of notice something on the floor, still slightly glowing, although any colours in this land just seem to become muted, just shades of grey. And you notice then, as you sort of lean down and brush away some of the dust, there looks to be a circle on the floor, drawn or carved, formed in some way, and there are arcane runes that surround the perimeter of that circle as well.
Hold up. I'll start kind of cleaning up try to reveal the whole circle, see if I can discern anything from it.
And you do manage to sort of clear it away, and it's not the first time you've seen a circle like this. you recognise it as a type of teleportation circle.
This might be stretching it, but would I... Would I know if this... no, never mind. No. There's some sort of circle of teleport here. This is not my area of expertise, so I don't know. We've seen something like this before in a cave, but
can I remember? I'm just going to try and remember the words that Ethereal used when he teleported us. Can he remember them?
Holy moly.
Make me... Oh, there's an interesting one. I'm going to say make me another Arcana check.
I will use a lucky point because I'm rolling like a twat. So, Arcana, come on. Get in!
Hey!
21!
Almost seemingly out of nowhere, you do remember not only the words that Ethereal used, but you also roughly remember the runes used when he previously teleported you.
I've got this, and I will grab Kirik, stand in the circle, and do the voodoo that the Ethereal did. I'll say the words and make the symbols. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
So Dargon's downstairs, yeah?
Strange, does it?
Yeah.
Dargon's
I don't know what he's
downstairs, you
doing,
grab
so.
Kirik and you begin to... And then you speak the words... Okay, I'm going to need you to make me an Arcana check again.
Yeah.
How long does this take him?
Probably a good couple of minutes to scribe it out.
If I've noticed that they're not following me, I'll at least be watching them. Like, guys, do you not want to come down here? Our shadows our silhouettes are pretty obvious.
Sort of. Make me a perception check, actually.
That I can do. Natural 20 for a 24. I'm rolling brilliantly. That's been like a 19 then a 20. This dice is loving me today.
So you can see Anders got one hand on Kirik and the other hand is sort of walking around the circle, just drawing stuff on the floor, and then he begins to sort of stand in the middle with Feltag Bothrid, Kirik,
Gary,
and begins to just sort of say some words.
What's he doing? What's he doing?
I don't know. What
Hand
are you
your
doing?
Arcana check, please.
Me. Arcana. Here we go. 17.
Make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
For fuck's sake. I'm not a wizard, obviously. 15. Oh, that's right in the middle, isn't it?
As Ander begins to speak these words, your hands glow slightly. The runes themselves seem to, one by one... Dargon, with your perception check, you can now see that Ander has done something.
I run back up the stairs to tackle him out. Tackle him out of whatever he's doing. Like, he's already touched the door, eaten the plant. I'm just going to tackle him out.
Ander finishes, the words of this spell, not understanding them, but writing certain runes and just speaking them and tapping into that innate magic that he has. You go up to tackle him, and as you jump in, another blinding flash.
Come on.
You all stumble onto grass.
Oh, shit.
And you are going to
shit.
take 20 points of psychic damage, and you're going to have disadvantage on any spell-based abilities now for a while. Because that spell you did not know, but rule of cool,
Probably not my level either, is it?
it's going to have some knock-on effects. Well, technically, teleportation circle you could have done.
Yeah. As a bard. Bard? Yeah.
And an arcane trickster, I believe.
Ah, yes.
Looking around, did all of us got teleported? And where are we?
You are all together. You're making me flick through some maps tonight, guys. Jesus.
You're welcome.
Kirik, what part of look after him, keep an eye on him, he's not himself? Did you not understand? Where the fucking hell are we now?
I see a frown on your face, but I think I just saved us.
Well, depends of where we are. Might be worse off.
The first thing you notice is that there is distinct colour to this place.
Oh,
For
The grass that you lay on is... You guys are getting way ahead here.
And like fuchsia plants.
The grass is green. I love where you thought about that, though. That was amazing. So funny. The grass itself is green. But there's no roads, there's no trees, there's no features that you can see within the immediate range. You're almost in sort of a vast plain.
just grass?
Just grass.
That's weird.
Can I look
Is
around?
there anything is there anything as an elemental plane of grass? Would I know? Is that a thing?
Make me a straight intelligence check, please.
Can I look around to see if there's any creature or thing that might be in our vicinity that isn't us?
Make me a perception check, please.
9.
Good dice.
9. Kirik, you have no idea.
7. Not so good anymore.
7. You look around. You can see nothing.
Is this the Feywild? Will your
No
owl
idea.
Not a
be able
fucking
to
clue.
help? Do you want to speak to your owl, and I will speak to my spirit guardian?
Well, it's not necessarily the owl I was going to speak to, but I close my eyes. Tim-I-L, if you can hear us, I haven't got a fucking clue where we are. If you do know, can you tell us? We've already moved one somewhere before. No idea where we are now. Hello? Hello?
Make me a persuasion check, please.
That's a 3.
Busting out all the checks tonight. That's a 3.
3.
Can't always
You
work.
get nothing back.
Oh, we're out of his range. That's always a good sign.
I'll try and commune with my spirit, please.
Go ahead, spirit. What are
Aye.
you saying to her?
I think I need some help. Everyone seems to be mad at me for some reason, but I think I've saved us. Can you help me find out where we are? I think I've done good.
Persuasion check.
Persuasion. 13. I've rolled way too many
13.
nines. I'm rolling like Kirik. It's high or really low.
So you get that feeling back, and then sort of a whisper. Something has changed, and you are not whole. But at least you are back.
If I am not whole, where do I find the missing piece?
Make me another persuasion check, please.
B. 17.
Something has pulled your personality apart. Seek someone who can restore you. The only other thing I can do is do it myself, but that will require you to come to me, and I am not sure you are ready for that just yet.
If you could tell me where you live, I could try.
You know where I live, and
Okay. I should try. I'll try and find somebody to help. If everyone is telling me I'm broken, I must be broken.
trust in those around you, and they have seen you right thus far.
I take it Anders just talking to mid-air.
Oh yeah, Andrew is literally just like, man. And you're all just looking at him like. Bothrid leans into you, Dogon. Oh, you still weird.
Yeah,
So
he's
I'll come back in the room.
he's 2 fries short of a Happy Meal, he is.
What's happening?
When are you all cooking?
It's Steve's camp for
Bothrid's cooking.
yeah, medieval fast food. I have spoken to the spirit. She can't help us now. But she also told me I am broken, and I need to find somebody who can put my personality back together. You have told me the same. She has told me this. I'm starting to feel like I need some help, although I'm not sure quite why or how. But apparently, I am not whole. There is a piece missing.
I'm glad you listened to her finally. Yeah, you definitely want to get you back, Ando. Let's just get out of here first. How about that? Should we try that?
Should I do the spell again?
Can we?
Don't think that might work.
Can
Yeah,
you?
it did hurt.
Can you see the symbols again? Can I? Can we see any symbols on the ground?
Make me a perception check, please.
Okay.
I'll try on that.
13.
Has it been an hour since I had the Miser's Ruin?
It's not worn off yet.
16 then.
You see nothing. If anything, the only thing you see is a slightly scorched patch of grass and earth, which is where the 5 of you landed.
Seeing as this doesn't look anywhere as creepy as the previous place, does look very different to where we were, and I can't see anything around here, and the fact that, Ander, you were able to get hold of your spirit, where the hell do we think we are now?
Where's the sun up in the sky?
No, Nelly.
Make me a survival check, please.
14.
14. So the sun itself, bearing in mind you don't quite know your orientation, is still quite low in the sky. And I'm going to say with that survival check, you get that sense of it still being morning. There's that chill to the air that denotes that it's been sort of night time and the ground's not quite warmed up yet, the air's not quite warmed up, as opposed to evening where it's sort of the opposite way around.
Could I assume that when we left, it would have been something like that, depending on the time that we woke up?
So you didn't spend very long fighting Lord Aerith or the Elemental.
Yeah. I think, well, at least the sun seems to be in a position where it might be similar to the one that it was when we left, wherever we left. So if we try to discern a position where the house might be on and just travel that way.
Well, can we also see if we can see the city? That other place we were at seemed to be an horrible mirror version of what we knew. What if this is as well, just slightly less horrible?
Do you want to send your owl up in the sky?
Oh, it's a bloody good idea. I shall summon Azazel. Azazel, you mind getting a better look at the place? I'll look through your eyes for a bit.
That was more pigeon than that. So you just, Azazel just sort of looks at you with that huge, great grey owl head, those big golden eyes, and just shoots off into the sky. And as your eyes bleed that similar gold, as you use your abilities to look through Azazel's eyes, Azazel rises, and as he rises, you see the plains sort of stretch out beneath him, but then the same direction as the sun, you see what looks like it could be a road, maybe a small village, and a forest. As Azazel turns his gaze the other way, and out beyond in the plains to the other direction is again another forest. And as, keeping the sun on his right and looking straight ahead, you see through Azazel's eyes maybe a city, but certainly beyond that what looks like snow-capped mountains.
I will be narrating this as I see it to them, to everyone. As I switch the music back on.
Failure.
Well, there is a forest over there. There's a village near the sunset, or towards the sunset, sunrise, whatever it is. There's a bigger
Should
city.
I,
Bigger city over there, though. So which one do you want to do? Village or sunset? Village or city?
should I try and speak to Captain Swift?
You can try.
Yeah, give it a whirl, mate. That'll answer whether we're in the Fairlyhead Forest.
I will get out my sending stone and I will. Hello, Captain Swift.
You went to?
10-4.
10 till we do it again, Captain Slow.
Is that what you're sending?
That's all Anders got.
Oh, that one's done me in a little bit.
He had the bright idea to use it, but that's as good as it got, mate. That's that charge for another day.
Sure is.
It takes a little bit of time and it almost comes across a little bit fuzzy. But you get the following message back. Anda? Where the bloody hell are you? We crashed. And now we can't get out. Please help. Vraco is not in good shape.
I will relay that back to the group.
Oh, great. You're
You
muted, Dave.
fucking ignored him.
They're alive! Thank God.
She wasn't very helpful.
Well, you did say, "Are you there?" and that's about it.
I'm struggling to see how this is my fault.
It's not your fault. Look, let's oh, God. We don't know where they are, though, do we?
Bofford at this
Crashed.
point internally is strongly sort of deliberating whether he should just knock Ander out and make a stretcher for him.
I can deal with that tomorrow.
Deal with what? Ander?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Hopefully.
Azazel, you can't see a crashed ship around, can you?
The head turns as the head comes all the way sort of back around, and Azazel sort of turns back on himself. You now see what looks like maybe a large body of water, perhaps a river, maybe even another city. The sun is on his left now.
Follow the river?
Yeah, should we follow the river to the city? Seems like it's possibly similar. Alright then, guys. Let's go.
Based on that view, Azazel's got owl eyes. It's a significant number of miles to the river and to where the city looks like it may be. But as I say, if that's the way you want to go, by all means.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Just walk.
Do we need to be sneaky here?
I'm gonna look around the just entire plain of grass. Just gonna say, I don't think there's much way of us hiding anywhere.
I'm sort of hunched as I asked that, and I'm like, fuck it. Alright.
I think even Under's going to struggle to sneak his way around today.
I'm good at pretend, but I'm not. I'm not that good.
Let's go
So I
then.
mean, we can jollily
Okay.
walk through the fields. I'll start skipping like it's Wizard of Oz.
You all begin heading off, and the sun slowly but surely makes its way across the sky, and it's a number of hours before you even get the slightest hint to yourselves of the river Dargon using Azazel to keep yourselves on course. And what you actually notice is that before the river the city appears, and it takes you probably most of the rest of the day. You stop briefly for some lunch, and as you stop for that lunch, and I will say have a short rest, so I'll
Nice.
allow you to have a short rest if you want to use any hit die. If you do choose to use any hit die, Bothrid will bang out some snacks,
Yep.
I will also
which
use
will
Song
allow
of
you
Rest.
all... Nice. All of the
So you get
short
extra
rest features
1d6.
coming out today.
What's Song of Rest again?
Yeah, gets on an extra 1d6 if you're using hit die to recover some health.
So an extra 1d6, and if you eat Bothrid's food, you will also get an extra 1d8. So who's eating the food?
Yep.
Me,
I'll eat the food, yeah.
3, 4. Bothrid's going to partake as well.
70.
What was that? A D8 for his food.
So an extra 1d8.
Yeah.
Then one.
As everybody now just does their short rests.
Yep.
Has Hero's Feast run out yet?
No.
Cool.
Okay.
Can I be really cheeky? Can I do some reading whilst walking?
You can.
So I pretty much use all of my hit die and the extra one from Bothrid, and I'm up to 84.
So we need to roll 1d6, 1d8,
I'm happy about that.
an
Kieran.
extra 10 hit points.
I'm 98.
So while you're eating your snacks,
Bothrid's-
I'm obviously playing a pan flute to relax, which is how the Song of Rest will work.
Bothrid's up to 112.
Nice. Let's start a scrap.
I'm on my max.
Cool.
Use one more hit dice.
Into words, so you begin to sort of head in this direction. You stop for lunch, have your short rest, and as I say, as the sun begins to set now, and you understand that you have been travelling in a southerly direction, based on this, through the sort of the passing of the sun and various other features, you approach a city which, to Dargon and Ander, becomes all too familiar. And you see the familiar bastions, the towers, the river flowing east to west, or I should say west to east, because that's the way it is flowing. And you find yourselves outside the city of Moonbright.
Whee!
Whoa, whoa. Hang about.
Does Ander actually realise he's at Moonbright?
Well, since you've asked the question, I'm going to say make me a perception check.
Yeah, I mean, Dargon is not expecting to be anywhere where
13.
Moonbright would come up.
13. Okay, make me a perception
13.
check as well, Dargon, if you don't want to accept that information.
Yeah, 6.
6.
Yeah.
So, Andy, you get the recognition, sort of. We've been here before. Dargon, you're just not expecting it, so you've almost just got your head down, you're plodding along, just... Let's go for a Bothrid as well, shall we?
This place looks familiar.
Wait, what? Really?
I think we've been here before.
Yes, we have. We did that dragon in, and then we walked down the path along the river, and then we were there.
Well, we've never been to a different realm before.
The smashy thing on the that robot dude. Looks like him. Points at Feltag.
That was in
Is this
Moonbright.
where you're champion of?
Yeah, jumping in Moonbright. Moonbright's not on another realm.
Yes, and they brought us back here, but just a different
So
place.
I did save us.
Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You are welcome.
And make me another Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, balls. I just got all my hit points back. 6.
Not anymore.
A
Yeah.
billion.
Take
God.
21 points of psychic damage.
Hello.
For fuck's sake. So you'll just see me clasp my head in pain and just drop to my knees, and then then I'll get back up.
What was that?
That wasn't good.
I don't know. My brain felt like it was melting.
That's a
Probably
problem.
need to have that checked.
Yeah. Well, look, if that's Moonbright, let's fucking book it. Come on, let's go.
We can probably hire some sort of horse or carriage to take us back to.
There was actually a temple. There was a temple in Moonbright. We went to it, and we may even have some pull in Moonbright. We might
have
be able
friends in
to.
mind.
Yeah, we might be able to get him to help.
Sure. Well, let's have a look.
Let's go. Start going at double pace.
So you pick up the pace and you have to circle around the perimeter of Moonbright or something, but eventually you come to a gatehouse. And you see that familiar, well, at least for Dargon and Andy, you see the familiar figures of the guard force of Moonbright, who all wear that plate armour with the symbol of 4 lightning bolts coming out of sort of a circle. And they sort of see you coming at a run, and a couple of them take out what look like glaives or long swords and sort of bar the way. Halt!
Pardon our abrupt arrival. Apologies. We're just keen to have got back here. Champion of Moonbright.
One of them
Hello.
takes off his helmet, sort of looks at you. It is!
Yeah,
He's the one that blew up the crucible.
that's the one. That's me. You mind letting us in?
Yeah, of course. Get out the way, out the way. And they sort
cheers.
of usher some.
You couldn't point us towards
villagers.
the temple again, could you? I know it's a temple here.
The Grand Temple, but just dead centre. Just keep going.
Lovely. Cheers. You don't mind if we Lovely.
I'll come with you. You guard the gate. Mind these rabble.
And you still all right?
Follow me.
Yeah, the pain is gone, but I think I need help.
Yeah, I'm not keen for that to happen again.
And as this soldier guardsman leads you through the city, you sort of walk through the streets, and there's occasionally a shout of "Oh, champion!"
Cheers, cheers.
As they all start to recognise you. And you sort of continue on in, and eventually you see this huge, great marbled building, and outside of which stands this figure in bronze. Why do I not have a Hero Forge queue on my stream deck? Because I'm a mong. So the figure in bronze. Come on, Hero Forge, show open load. Hero Forge, by the way, if you want to do your character creation, want to create your visualizations, Hero Forge, great
They're
tool.
amazing.
Into my folders. Because yes, I've created all my gods in Hero Forge as well now. So you see a figure, short-ish beard, flowing hair behind, very simple harness-like armor, shoulder guard, wrist guards, very little else. Simple sandals with spiked toes and spiked shin pads, and in one hand a lightning bolt raising from the hand, and you can see now the depiction of Cord, the Storm Lord, outside the Grand Temple. And there are people sort of all over the place, just some worshipping, some sitting down, some admiring the statue, others just making their way to other parts of the city. The soldier, the guardsman, turns to you. There's the Grand Temple, please, champion. Oh, they would love to have you in there. Go.
Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. Here's a gold for your trouble. Thank you.
No. Thank you. We get paid enough.
I'll have the gold.
Yeah, feck off.
Inside check.
Feel free.
That's I'll roll just for fun. 15.
That's the 5-hour session talking.
Yeah.
15, yeah, he's telling the truth.
Okay, cool.
It's not another living wage.
So that was the someone outside of the temple at the moment.
There's various people all over the place. There's people outside the temple, there's people going into the temple. I mean, this temple is huge.
Yeah, do I
Probably the biggest
recognise
building
anyone
you've seen
from the
in-
temple
in
that we have
Nuremberg.
like conversed with before? Not specifically a person, but the way they dress or anything.
You have seen familiar figures in terms of the way they dress. There are people in sort of whitish, ivory type coloured robes, all of which have these medallions or symbols hanging around their necks, which again is that sort of circle with 4 bolts coming out of it. As you now
do I
look
remember
closer,
them?
you sort of carry on.
Do I remember them as the people that used to heal Dargon after his fights?
Yes, you would recognise them as the priests that came out and healed Dargon or healed the other fighters. For those playing the home game, this was pre-stream antics that are now being revisited.
Bringing them back in.
So do go check out the YouTube video where I discuss all those pre-stream antics, and that will help get you up to speed.
Will you two be allowed in if you don't support the Cord?
I'm sure they'd be willing to help anyone out. Excuse me there. Excuse me. Could you
Hello?
Hi. Dargon, Champion of Moonbright. We talked to
Yes.
you guys. We helped out the mayor or your chief, whatever. You couldn't help us, could you?
What is it we can do for you, our Grand Champion of Cord?
Yeah, our friend here, and a good friend of mine, he came with me before.
I am broken.
Exactly that. He is not himself. And we have no idea
Did
what's wrong with him.
he collapse under the weight of all of his winnings, did he?
Yeah, he did win quite a lot. I have to. You're right. No, we were fighting an evil dude in a globe, in an orb, in a marble, and it didn't go well.
I have been told I am mentally limp.
I'm sorry. That was a lot.
Apologies, I
slow
don't
down?
mean to intrude. My name is Kira Gravetusk. I am a servant of the Raven Queen. I apologize if I'm intruding around these parts. Our companion requires a application of greater restoration, I believe, from what I can assess. If you have someone that could be able to perform that service, we have gold, of course, if we need to pay. I have material components with me. I can also donate those. I simply cannot perform it today, and we need it as soon as possible.
Well, I suppose for the Grand Champion, then yes, we can do. Perhaps it would be better to speak to the Archdeacon. Please, follow me.
You're very kind. What's your name?
We do not have names. I'm just one of the clerics.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much indeed. Lead on.
Yes, that was a cop-out because you put me right on the spot.
Yeah, I did. I was waiting for like a Bob or a Robert or something like that.
Should have gone with Keith.
Yeah, Keith.
If you remember last time we were in Moonbright and you said, who is this person's name? I then had to come up with a name and we named them Keith.
Everyone in Moonbright has that name.
Just called Keith, yeah.
Everybody in Moonbright is just called Keith.
Keith,
Local brother
Keith, the Keith.
So the cleric leads you in and sort of takes you into the depths of the temple and off to a side room, and there is a sort of quite a grand looking door, rather ornate. Looks like there's silver or platinum inlay in this door, and he just gently knocks. Yes. And he opens the door and sort of enters and closes it behind him, leaving you outside, and you can hear sort of hushed whispers. And then the cleric comes out again and sort of bows his head. The Archdeacon will see you, Grand Champion. I do not wish to be rude, but your metallic friend here, we will need him to wait outside.
Is there a problem with him?
Well, the short answer is yes. There are so few of them left, and they are inherently unpredictable. As you saw in the Crucible, they are... We would not like anything to happen to this temple.
Is it because he was built for the wrong god?
And the cleric now looks at him and sort of observes him, and... Well, he carries no mark, so... I have no idea.
Yeah, fine. Foul tag, apologies. We'll sort it all out later, but do you mind waiting outside for us?
No. I'm not
Jit.
one to temples.
Don't run too far. I assume the rest of us can all come in.
Go with him.
Alright.
Bothrid goes with Feltag.
Yeah.
Yes, by all means, the rest of you are most welcome. Yes, please, enter.
Thank you once again. Keith, was it?
Thank you, Brother Keith.
Just cleric will do.
Alright, cheers.
Cleric Keith.
I couldn't resist.
Make me a constitution saving throw, you arsehole. So no, you
Cleric
enter
with a
in the
K.
door, and sat the other side of a rather large wooden table is a figure who, for a minute, you have to do a double take. Almost looks the spitting image of the statue outside. But then you realise that the hair and the beard have been styled deliberately in that manner. Not what you're expecting from an archdeacon. There are no ivory robes.
We didn't meet the archdeacon before, did we?
No, you didn't meet the archdeacon before.
Fine, yeah.
Not what you're expecting. This figure wears leather armour with, again, metallic sort of pauldrons, metallic wrist guards. Leant against the table desk, for want of a better term, is a greatsword. And on the bottom of the hilt of the greatsword is the tiniest sort of lightning bolt, if you like, that comes out of the bottom. And he looks at you, sort of piercing blue eyes. So, Grand Champion, you deem it fit to return to Moonbright finally. Welcome. I understand
like
your
your
friend
costume.
here has some issues. It is not a costume, my boy.
Archdeacon,
This
I
is the
think
one
he's
that
just.
has the issues, I assume.
I think he's just proven his point. Yeah. Thank you very much for seeing us, by the way. Yeah. I have no idea what's wrong with him, but I think our good friend Kirik here does. Or at least
Do you have the piece to put back inside me?
he's missing a few marbles. We're not quite sure. Well, I don't know what's wrong. Kirik, you're better to explain this.
Archdeacon, our companion seems to have been to have a part of his soul removed from him, and from my assessment and from what we've been able to investigate, we require the application of a greater restoration spell. I am currently tied up and am not able to perform such a rite, so we thought that someone like you would be able to.
He's experienced quite a lot of inner pain quite recently. He clutched his head and slumped to the floor for a moment. He's not looking his best.
Clutched his head. That does not sound like soul damage.
He isn't. He's definitely not himself at the moment.
Well, when did
I appear to be broken on the inside, and my
There's
brain
more
feels
of a
like it.
story here, boys. I appreciate the urgency, but in order to fully help your friend here, I must have the full details. Take me back to the beginning. How did this start? How's it progressed? What has happened?
It started during, well, we became aware of it at the beginning of this day when he came to breakfast and just wasn't there.
He mentioned having a dream, weird dreams, and we were in an house of quite a nasty mage who was playing tricks on us and everything. But yeah, he woke up
That mage was also seemingly interested in... Well, he didn't have a physical form, and he was interested in finding one. I believe that he saw our companion as a suitable body to inhabit.
Kirit, what was his name? That guy.
Lord Arith.
You not heard of him? You not heard of him, have you, Archdeacon?
The name means nothing to me, but I can only assume by the way you're talking and your half-orc friends' tendencies that this thing is no longer around for us to worry about.
Very much so.
Yeah. Also, it was a long way away from here. We have somehow got here via a lot of magic. We were actually a few minutes away from River's End. River's End this morning. Sorry, Archdeacon, my head's been a bit scrambled with all the movement. You don't mind if I have a cigar?
So
Calm my nerves.
You were near River's End and somehow magically appeared in our city.
Outside, quite a few miles away.
We had a quick trip through the Shadowfell and then...
Here.
Yes. It has been a long day,
You
Archdeacon.
boys are very strange.
We get that a lot.
Yeah, we get that.
However, so I get the soul damage now. I don't understand the... You say your friend was in pain?
Brain pain.
Yeah, I mean it was.
It feels like that.
It was a bit of time after we made the jump back from the Shadowfell. And I would also
How
point
did you
out
return from the Shadowfell? Did you find a gate?
Is that what you call like symbols on the ground?
I remembered
No.
a spell, that a teleportation spell, and I recreated it. I've never done it before.
And you are alive?
Yeah.
Well,
Shouldn't we be?
forgive me for my sort of rather silly comment there. It's almost fathomable for someone to copy a spell and simply just perform it when they don't necessarily understand it, which is the impression I am getting. Perhaps that is the source of your secondary pain.
In that case, is it lingering, or is he alright? Well, kinda.
I do not deal in the arcane, I deal in battle and the divine. I do as our Grand Lord Cord commands me.
Is there
Veteran
anyone
troops.
who might know how to fix him then, that you know of? I
The
know
soul damage, I think I can help with. Whatever else it is, you will need somebody who is more familiar with matters of the arcane.
Let's
think
hope
we
he
know
lasts that
someone.
long.
I hope you can appreciate that these feats are no mere task.
We'll pay whatever we need to.
I do not ask for material payment. As champion, I would expect you to reclaim such a title, or at least defend your title.
I would love to indeed. We've certainly been running around Nylin trying to fix stuff. So far to no avail. It's nice to be back here, I have to admit.
And that is certainly a worthy cause. My cleric said you had the materials.
I should probably check that before saying stuff like that, shouldn't I? Pretty sure I do.
Of course, Archdeacon, if there was anything that I could ever do, not only attempt to retake my title or defend it, but if you ever were in need of assistance, we would only be so glad to oblige.
Our warriors are strong. I train them myself. Of course, Captain Thorold is their leader, but I oversee the training, as is our Lord's wish. Perhaps we make a bargain.
I like bargains.
As do I. My soldiers remain untested for many years. If there is a battle to come, I would like those who I've trained to get involved. Have a true test.
I am sure there's
Show
battle to come.
themselves worthy of our Grand Lord. I would also ask you, defend your title and make a declaration. Declare your strength to our Lord Cord. You are his champion after all in this city.
Oh, this might get awkward.
Yeah, about
And
that.
Anna just say that out. Anna said that out loud.
Yes, I can sense some hesitation.
Yeah, I like pull the sort of shoulder cape from up and over, and it has the symbol of
Ah.
Palor.
Well, as the old adage says, one cannot serve two masters.
Indeed not. And I would feel it a disservice to either of them to not tell you in advance. Our path has been very long, and the light has been very good to me in these past few months. But I am very grateful for your offer. Were it any different, I would be glad to. It doesn't mean that I am not that I am still not very keen of this place and of all of its people, and I have no issue with Cord either. I would, however, be delighted.
Nor would he have issue with someone who has proven himself worthy. I think perhaps our bargain should be this. My warriors get their test. I help your friend, but you must also defend your title against the strongest of our ranks.
It would be an honour and a true privilege.
Then I will see you on the battlefield,
How did I know?
Grand Champion.
Oh,
And I was
The materials, then.
I'll take out a pouch with 100 gold pieces worth of dusted diamond. And I will pass it
Very well.
around.
If you will assist me, my cleric friend, I do not think it's a problem between the Raven Queen and my lord.
Of course.
Then we will begin. And with between Kirik and the Archdeacon, they both make the necessary preparations, form the spell circle, if you like, lay Ander out almost on this wooden table, and then between the two of them they begin to cast the spell, and it begins as a chant, and the chants actually conflict to begin with, one doing the chant of the Stormlord, Kirik doing a chant to the Raven Queen, but eventually they begin to sort of weave together Amanda, your eyes sort of naturally close and you feel both ice cold and almost a fuzzy warmth within you. And that seems to sort of fill you up. And you can feel then just part of you returning as your peripheral vision returns. When you open your eyes in brief flashes, you begin to notice things around you, the sounds of people outside. Some of your recent memories become more vivid as the previous damage done to your statistics is undone. And eventually the chants calm down and go quiet, and the Archdeacon holds out a hand, lifts you into a sitting position, nods at Kirik. Well, I've done what I can. How do you feel?
I think I'm myself again.
Ah, sounds like him. Oh, listen to that, dear boy. I
How
go
many
give
wives
Amber
do
a
you
hug.
have?
How many lives?
How many
How many
wives?
A gentleman never tells.
And
He's
back.
back, yeah.
Some history there, it seems. One does not judge.
First things first. What's the odds on you two when we have a scrap? I've got a bet to place.
Yes.
He's definitely
It is
back.
you, is it? Well, I suggest you go see our bookies, as the common folk call them. I'm sure they would revel in such a fight. Of course, we need to make the preparations, we need to make the announcements. This will be no mere bout. This will be the greatest contest we have had in Moonbright for many, many a year. The Grand Champion of Cord versus the first Champion of Cord.
Well.
Beard versus beard.
I look forward to living up to the name of champion. A worthy fight is always fun.
I look forward to seeing you in battle. I should warn you though, this fight
Yeah,
will be
last
No
fight was
holds barred.
fisticuffs. Sincerely hoping this
Yes,
one's going to
this
be a
one-
bit better.
This one will allow your simple weapons and simple armor, but beyond that, use what you have.
Sort of pull
This
out
is-
the warhammer. I'm like, simple.
I think you and I both know the answer to that question, Darwan.
He is quite
Yeah.
simple, to be fair.
To be fair, I might have to pick up a couple of simple weapons then, and that armor.
Is this the fight
We
to
can
the
provide if you need.
I'm sure that I would be happy to give some of your blacksmiths some work. How say you?
Entirely up to you. As I say, we can provide those weapons. The blacksmiths will certainly... Well, I'm sure some of them would be love to be represented in the field.
Then I will go find one. I will get some simple armor and some simple weapons. You don't know if there's anywhere that
Very
we
well.
might be able to stay and rest up. It's already been a day. Well, it's evening. Fuck it. Yeah, it's been a day.
Well, might I suggest you stay at one of the local taverns? I'm sure they would be happy to house the champion and his entourage. Just make sure you tip them well.
Will do. Ander can do that bit.
I will go speak to Mayor Goldthwaite and make the necessary preparations.
How's the mayor doing, by the way?
He is recovering. Much more himself. The streets return to order.
Wouldn't
Captain
mind.
Thorold very rarely leaves his side these days.
Good. I'm glad to know he's there. You let us know when this fight's going to be, but wouldn't mind dropping in and saying hello to them if he's got a moment.
By all means, I think. Let us give it a couple of days. Allow the celebrations to be, well, celebrated by all.
Guys, it's been
Well,
a bit
I think we
hectic last few days. Can we have a bit of time off or not?
Well, I think we do need to clarify. Well, I definitely deserve a break. I think that's safe to say. So that's a yes from me. But last time we fought, you fought in the stadium. You nearly died. Everyone nearly died. This fight between you two, is it just until someone yields, or is it to the death?
There's no worthier
We shall
fight.
see what Cord wishes.
Just trying to figure out what bet to place. That's all.
Guys,
Are we allowed to provide the champion with some help?
He must enter the field of battle alone.
Could he potentially, I don't know, have claws?
and that's not something that's going to leave this room.
It's just a simple weapon, is it not?
He'll be alone.
Very well. Well, if our business here is done and is late, I will see you in a couple of days.
Archdeacon, it'll be an honour and a privilege. Thank you again for helping him. It's lovely to have our friend back. We'd
Do
like
not
to work
forget
with
to seek out somebody who understands the arcane while I have repaired the soul damage. Beyond that, I'm not sure what else was done.
you. Yeah, do you know if there's anyone in Moonbright who could do that? Or do we need to look further afield in the next couple of days?
The only person I could perhaps think of is the enchanter.
Where won't we find the enchanter? Oh, is that the lady that we've been to before?
I think that's the lady who was put us under her spell a couple of times. She enchanted me some arrows last time I was here.
I wouldn't mind going back to see
So you
her.
have met her,
Yeah.
indeed. By all means.
Archdeacon, thank you. We've taken enough of your time up. Well, be hearing from you in the next day or so, I assume.
And as the others even leave the room, I will actually turn around and give the deacon a proper heartfelt thank you. I was giving it the bigger while the
He
others
sort
were
of
there.
reaches out a hand to you, Ander.
What that like forearm clasp thing that men of the medieval times do.
By the way, he's just holding out a hand.
Yeah. I'll put my hand out. I'll hold his hand.
And he does clasp you by the wrist.
Oh, okay.
Takes a sort of strong grip. Take care. Let's not mess with any more spheres, shall we?
Not making any promises.
Nor would I expect you to. Cool. So you exit the temple and walk off to find Bothrid and Feltag. I am going to say we will take a short break there. Welcome back. So, we have returned Ander, at least in personality, back to himself.
Sorry,
A
everyone.
bargain has been struck. And, yeah, you make your way out of the temple. I will pause at this point and say hello to everybody watching. Hello in the chat.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for being with us.
Hello,
Love
hello.
you. Stick with us, please. Please. But no, huge shout out to everyone that supports us. We love you all. And thank you for all being here week on week. So getting back into it, as you approach Bothrid and Feltag, we're just sort of sat on the lower steps. And make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
And there it is.
There we go. 14. You
You take
take
33 points of psychic damage.
Ooh.
and then I'm down on the ground.
As people sort of turn around and sort of look, and Bothrid sort of turns quite disturbed. Why is he not fixed? I'm talking him now to get fixed. Why is he not fixed?
Yeah, two different matters, Bothrid. We've got to get somewhere else. By the looks of it, pretty sharpish.
Do I remember where the enchanter is from here?
So you would know that the enchanters in the sort of market area, the merchants area, the trade centre of Moonbright, which you also know as the trade centre of Nylin itself. You roughly remember the way, so I'm going to say you begin to hurry your way down the streets, and eventually you come to a number of stalls and sort of this circle of buildings. And you immediately run to the one that has sort of the strange gemstones and orbs in it. The door is shut.
While we're walking, I'm going to kind of slightly slash my hand a little bit, and I'll kind of grab Anders and cast Life Transference at 3rd level. So I'm going to take... Ooh, that's pretty good. I'm going to take 19 points of damage, and Anders going to recover 38.
Woo-wee! You know, in
Nice.
those type of churches where people go, repenter, and then like they get the holy light in them. That's what it's going to be like. But obviously, not our holy light, the Raven Queen's, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the visual for everyone.
You're muted, Dave.
Bothrid's also going to slap a hand
Yeah,
on
thank
you
you.
and cast Cure Wounds at 1st level for 3 hit points because he rolled a 1.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, thank you so much, Kirik. Bothrid, A for effort.
I think I liked you best before.
You don't mean that.
I don't.
Okay, I will bang on the door.
Hello, is anyone in?
A couple of minutes pass. And then eventually you hear a shuffling from beyond. And then the door clicks open and you see, just sort of peeping round, long flowing blonde hair, just face beyond beautiful, sort of bronzed skin, almost to the point of being almost orange, but still just ridiculously beautiful. make me a charisma saving throw first, please.
That's not my character sheet.
All of us, or
Everyone?
just Dagon?
Just Dargon, because
a
he's
10.
banged on the door and is looking at her. A 10. You get this sense of, my God, she is beautiful. But then, having felt this before, you just shake it off. Champion, it is late. What can I do you for?
Enchantress, it is unbefitting of me to be disturbing such a beautiful woman late night, but I believe you're the only one who can help us. Our dear friend, Ander, you met before. He's unwell, and it's of a nature I can't fix.
I have brain damage.
Yeah, we went to go and see the temple, and they said that they couldn't help him. Well, they helped him with one thing, and he needs help with another.
No. We can pay. I'm feeling a bit desperate now at this point.
Please come in.
Thank you kindly. It just couldn't wait till the morning.
You all in. As you all come in, she sort of looks around again and then shuts the door and locks the door, and then turns. And as she turns, you now get the full extent of her beauty, the long flowing hair. She's in quite a simple gown. Looks like she was kind of getting ready to settle down for the evening. I need Ander, Kirik, Bothrid and Feltag all to make charisma saving throws. Ander, you should get an advantage against this.
God blimey.
Right. Oh, hang on, but haven't I got this? It's not this. I've got a disability on spelly type checks. Does that impact?
Yeah, so this
save?
is only if you try to cast a spell,
Okay.
whatever the spell is, you're going to get disadvantage
Right.
on that. This is a charisma save, and you will will use your blessing to
15 then.
get resistance. So 15.
15 as well.
15, and let's do Bothrid, charisma saving throw. It had to be
No,
Bothrid.
Buffett in love.
Bothrid is just besotted with this woman. Sort of, you can see his eyes go wide, and he just sort of starts pulling stuff out his bag. Oh, please, food for beautiful lady. What can I do for you, please? Hi, I am Bothrid.
I will say to
Welcome
Kirik to not be alarmed. She's not. She can't help it. She's not doing it on purpose. She's not a threat.
Right. Okay.
As Bothrid sort of just effervesces with emotion and all these amorous feelings, she
Slunk.
just sort of... Oh, he's funny. Anyway, Ander, what has happened?
I may have cast a spell I'm not equipped to cast, and now I am left with a searing pain in my brain. It's debilitating. I cast a teleportation spell, and I think it has broken me.
And you've not learned such as... Well, obviously not. Well, it sounds like you might have spell sickness.
Oh,
You say searing pain in your head.
yes.
If you have not learned a spell or not properly equipped to cast, then sometimes it can... Well, sometimes it can simply kill you, but sometimes it can cause pain. It can affect your spell casting abilities. It is not something I see very often. In fact, I think I've only seen it once before, but well, it is not something to be taken lightly, Ander. I hope you realise this.
Well, what do I need to do?
Well, there is no cure as as such. It's a time thing more than anything, but the pain it will. Well, we need to manage the symptoms until you've had such time to recover.
Okay, is there any way that we can stabilise him? Help him?
Well, the first thing is don't cast any spells. That can sometimes it exacerbate the thing.
I mean, in my defence, I was not myself when I cast a spell. I've also had my soul was broken too, but it's all right. We fixed that now. We don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I wasn't the wisest of fellows, and I was just acting on impulse, which for me, is a bad thing.
It sounds like you've been through the ringer, and at this point, Bothridge just sort of up next to her, just sort of gazing at her. And you sort of just
did I look like that first time we met? Because that is embarrassing.
Yes, sometimes I wish I could help it, but I can't. So.
So, no spells from him. I assume bed rest is going to help.
Well, as long as he's one of those things, if he's not exerting himself, then there's no need for the effects to be as debilitating, but this is quite a serious ailment. I hope you realise that.
Well, all we can do is wait it out and hope for the best.
Kind of. There's things we can do, but I will need time to gather my notes and materials to at least lessen the effects.
How long does it usually last, the ailment?
I need to be totally honest. The last time I saw this, it didn't take long for the one suffering to die.
Oh, good.
Well, we won't let that happen. So...
No. I won't let it happen again.
So, I just need to not exert myself, not use any spells, and preferably not use my brain?
Oh, should be alright for you, Ender.
Use your brain, it's just... Let's put it simply, you've used magic that was beyond you, and in doing so have damaged the source of magic within you, and now it's like a tear, and that tear must be healed.
Oh crap, I'm trying to remember which side of the conversation we heard on when Ander was talking.
Sorry, say that again?
Out of character, Ander needs to go and speak to that spirit who can get fixed, but I can't remember whether we know that.
I don't think he said it.
She said she could help, potentially.
Yeah.
But I need to seek out someone.
Yeah, we don't know that. Bugger.
I'm sorry it's not better news, Ander, but I will do what I can.
And Kirik, when we thought we were somewhere else, I thought we were somewhere else, and you managed to get through to Captain Swift. Does that mean that they're actually back here?
Not necessarily. The spell works on different planes. There's just a possibility they won't.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, no, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. My question to her was not as fruitful as I'd hoped. As you know, I wasn't myself, and I fear that I wasted our opportunity there. But at least we know she's alive.
Actually, she is alive, however, Franco wasn't looking that good. Enchantress, we seem to have lost some friends, possibly in a different plane, over Fairliad Forest. You wouldn't know how to get there, or how to get them back, or have anything that would help us guide us there. Something connected to the forest anyway, and they're missing. We don't think they're here.
She wanders to the back of the shop, sort of looks into the back of the shop with just her back sort of towards you. And then she turns and sort of leans back against the counter. I am not going back. But perhaps I can... Perhaps I can... Well, give you a map and at least guide you to those places that you can go, should avoid. You know it's dangerous, right?
Yeah, but we've got friends lost there, one very sick. If we don't go get them, they're all goners. Doesn't feel fair to leave them there.
Goners is, I suppose, dependent on the queens.
What queens? What?
Well, the land of the Fae is ruled over by 2 courts. I thought this was common knowledge, sorry.
Do please
It probably
elaborate.
is, and we forgot it, love, to be fair. Probably didn't write it down.
My
Do we
home
know
is-
that?
Make me a history check, please.
11.
I got an 8.
21.
Hey!
Anyone?
Mr. Book.
Kirik, you've read of the Feywild, you've read of the creatures that inhabit the Feywild. You know that there are 2 ruling factions within the Feywild, and it depends whether we're talking about sort of the lighter side of fairy magic or the darker side of fairy magic. You know these 2 courts to be the Seelie Court, or the Court of Light, the Court of Summer, the Summer Court, and then the Unseelie Court. One of which, or both of which, are ruled by queens, one of which, the Unseelie Court, is ruled by a queen known only as the Queen of Air and Darkness. And the Summer Court is ruled by a family of sorts, but the overarching monarch is the Summer Queen. Some call her Queen Titania or Titania, however you want to pronounce that one.
Does Anda have any knowledge of one side?
With that check, Anders' knowledge of the Fey Courts is bugger all. He just knows he speaks to a Fey spirit.
Good.
The Enchantress sort of turns and she says, "Well, there are these 2 courts. There are There's the Seelie. There is the Unseelie. The Seelie is the summer court. That's where I came from. The Unseelie is, well, let's just say the Queen of Air and Darkness is, she's a cold woman.
We would be delighted to take as much information and map as we could. Is this something that we could actually make it there through Phalead Forest, or is there a safer route? And I mean safer in a relative term.
Phalead Forest is the gateway, but the forest is large. Just because we say the forest is the gateway does not mean there is one entrance and one exit.
Right.
There are some which are easier to traverse than others.
Inside the forest or other means?
All the gates are inside the forest.
Right. Looks like we're heading back to the forest then, guys, as soon as we can.
2
It
days.
sounds like you have a lot of things to do, and
Yeah.
I would not take him in his current state. At least let me try something.
Well, yeah, I mean, not that we've decided this yet, but sounds like I might be sticking around a couple of days and heading back into the Crucible. I have a good mind to decline, or not decline, but postpone if we need to and have a desire to get back to our friends. But if we can't take Ander in this form, it's gonna force us to stick around for a hot second.
I think I can at least help Ander by tomorrow. I can come back tomorrow night. I can try and help him. As for your appointment in the Crucible, I heard murmurs. Do not postpone that match. That is probably not worth your life.
Very well then, we're sticking around. I hope that Captain Swift and crew can survive a couple more days in the Feywild.
I can check on them.
They've survived this far. That is something.
That they have. Fingers crossed they're in the realm of the Lighter Queen. Summer one. That one. Slate.
Summer Court, Dargon. The Summer Court.
Yeah, that
I'll
one.
just
Quite beautiful.
I'll just dab Othrid's drool from his face.
We've taken plenty of your time. Thank you for the information. We would be delighted to come back in the morrow. I think we need to bed down. Nearest tavern and all. How about that, guys, yeah?
Sounds
Yes.
good to me.
Enchantress, has been an honour. How much
And
do
a
we owe you
privilege
for
as
a
well
map?
as- Oh, is it not a gift?
We'll discuss that then. I need to think. I need to work on things, and I will decide my price then.
We'll take no more of your time then. Have a good evening.
As we are leaving, as we are leaving and we're walking to the tavern, I want to say to the guys, now, this may just be my paranoia, but I've been used before. So I was used by the Eladrin. I was used by that wretched sword. What if the Fey spirit that is guiding me is actually from the Unseelie court, and she is also using me? Do I ask her outright? I mean, she's only ever helped me, but at one point the Eladrin only ever helped me. Do you think I'm being paranoid?
I think you're right to be paranoid, mate, with everything that we've been through. I even took a moment to wonder if Timaeus was on the right side of all this lot. Which reminds me, we still are... Oh, bloody hell. A couple of nights ago, I had a dream about him. No, it wasn't him at all, actually. But it made me think a lot about it. Anyway. Look, it's understandable that you feel like this, and what do you feel? Is he pulling your leg, leading you on? We've got to start trusting at some point.
I think I'll just ask her. I'll just ask her outright.
I suppose you could ask her, you know, what house, what court they're in. Yeah.
I'll ask, who she serves, where she's from. Yeah, I might do that before I retire this evening.
Well, guys, let's just sit down, have a well-deserved drink. Yeah.
Let's have some food and drink. Yeah.
Yeah. I need some food. Bothrid, your stuff was brilliant earlier, but I'm now hungry again. I'm always hungry.
Are you back with us, Bothrid?
She was so pretty.
Yes. Yeah, we've all been through it.
Food.
I know.
I'll go back see her tomorrow night. Maybe I ask for a kiss.
I don't think that's appropriate. No.
Do you believe we go and find our local tavern?
We all know that wasn't a quarterstaff in your pants as well, Bothrid, so you need to calm yourself.
Bothrid sort of just nervously crosses his legs and... Cool, so you make your way. It doesn't take you very long to find a tavern. There's quite a few around. And you just sort of enter one that looks like it's fairly big, should have enough rooms to suit you all. As you go in, there is a halfling behind the bar. Actually stood up. As you walk in, you can see they're stood up on a box to see over the bar. There's a few patrons around. There's a bard in the corner, and it seems like the majority of people don't want a late night tonight. There's a lot of people sort of heading off to bed already. And the halfling looks as you enter. Hello?
Oh, hi. 1, 2, 3. Is Feltag with us?
Beltag's with you?
5 drinks, please, and some meats, some food.
By all
Preferably
means.
some rooms.
Oh yeah, rooms.
Rooms
Shit.
too?
Yeah.
How many?
5.
5.
If you haven't got 5, Feltad can sit in a broom closet.
Beltag sort of looks and says, no need for a broom closet. I'll just...
For fuck's sake.
There, yeah, same side. 4 rooms, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll carry him upstairs. He won't be in your way all night.
I'm gonna say you can't stand in the doorway all night.
It's fine, I'll move
so
him.
4 rooms?
4 rooms. 4 rooms.
4
Still
rooms.
5 pints. Meat and food and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. You paying up front or you paying in the morning?
Yeah, I'll pay now. What?
Okay, for the lot of you. Wait, champion.
Oh, aye. Yeah,
Hey,
aye.
Your room has to be on the house. Let's say, whew,
Well, what about
we're fairly
the...
light.
do I get a half price for being his trainer and promoter / manager?
make me deception check, please.
Happily.
Right back at the start of the stream. Hey, do you know what? Let's be what was it? Let's be the champion of Moonbright and his manager walking around with his
So-
bodyguard, and that never fucking happened, did it?
Although that shows as a 15, I actually can't roll lower than a 10 on deception checks because of my silver tongue. So that is actually 20.
You can't roll lower than a 20
By all
on
means,
deception.
Nope. Or persuasion.
literally cannot roll lower than a 20.
Oh my god.
Oh, my persuasion's only +4 actually, so it's only deception. That's
you all with-
it's 20 regardless.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
if
they're
you're
all.
all with the
they're all with
champion,
me.
then
Yeah.
rooms on the house. I'll just a small tip for your drinks, and we'll call it even.
I popped down a platinum for him.
Fucking platinum?
Yeah.
And he sort of looks. Thank you kindly. And he runs off before anybody else can say anything else.
I was gonna, never mind.
And you go and find a table. A couple of minutes later, he sort of returns and sort of takes him a couple of trips, but he brings out 5 pints, platters of meats, platters of cheeses, some breads. Also brings out a pie. Looks like it's freshly cooked. And also what looks like a soup or a broth of sorts. Some cooked vegetables. Basically, he's bringing out his finest.
Out of curiosity, how much would the rooms have costed? If it's
Tune in
less
for
than
Malt
one
Magic and
platinum,
more.
There's probably 5 gold for all the rooms.
He was going to get a tip off me anyway. But anyway.
And we tried to ask you earlier today. Yeah.
But that went well.
What had happened last night when you were fine in the evening, and then you went to bed and something
Yes.
happened. Obviously, you weren't. Go ahead.
I was plagued by vivid, lucid dreams. But they were based around memories, but they were all kind of warped and twisted to a new reality. So essentially, I was in the mines back in Fandelver, and I had to save Dargon from a cave collapse. And then
Oh god, don't remind me. Bloody hell.
and then my good friend Johannes attacks me. Which obviously it never happened. At least I don't remember it ever happening. And then I was kicked out of the College of Eloquence for not being good enough, which we all know doesn't happen because I am charming as fuck.
Yeah, we
And
just
then-
bloody well saw.
Yeah, and then then what happened? Oh, yeah, I tried to repress this memory, but here, and then I don't know if I've ever seen this before, or even if it's real. But I was in Castle Hornraven.
Wait,
In the room.
Castle what?
Bear with me, it gets weirder. So, I'm in Castle Hornraven. Apparently, I grew up in a castle. My family banners hanging from the throne room. I'm sat next to my father. His face is still a blur. I couldn't tell you what his face looks like. He's just a big stoic man that I'm sat next to. And then in the middle of the throne room, a hooded figure with burning red eyes appears. My father gets up, rushes towards him. Then all of a sudden my father's down on the ground. I'm knelt next to him. I've got blood all over my hands and what I can only assume is the Eladrin. Those red eyes cannot be mistaken for anything else. He's holding the sword, the dagger that killed my father. But then I look down at him again and the dagger is in my hand and it appears that I have killed my father. And then that's when I woke up.
Do you think that's a
So
real
you can-
memory? Or?
It felt real, but I've never. I didn't even know that castle existed. I didn't even know I knew my father in real life, until then. I just always assumed he'd died before I was born. I don't actually remember So whether this is a memory that I was buried and lost to me, or the Eladrin had made me forget, or whether it is I did know my father and either I witnessed him get murdered, or I was.
You mentioned that one of your dreams was pulling me out of the rubble. That didn't happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were in that cave. Don't remember you pulling me out of rubble.
That's true.
And make me a history check with advantage, please.
Oh. I mean, I didn't tell it as good as Matt, but those were my dreams, guys. 13.
I spent hours planning those. 13.
Yeah, and I butchered them in 30 seconds.
That's all good. As you sort of focus on this, the memory, the dream almost returns to you, but there are subtle details that have changed. And you do now distinctly remember being in the throne room, seated next to your father, but there being an audience. And you vaguely remember your mother as well, sitting the other side of your father. And then there is a scuffle. Something from behind tackles your father. The last thing you then remember seeing are just two red eyes before there is darkness. But in yourself, you feel like something has been returned to you in that memory. You remember the castle, you remember the keep, you remember the kingdom, the continent, slowly and surely details of your life before the Eladrin returned to you in that moment. And the rest
I
of the
will
party
act
would
this
see
out in a
Ander sort
minute,
of
but I'm
drift
just
off
writing it all down.
for a moment. It's fine. So you see Ander drift off for a moment as he sort of thinks on these dreams and concentrates, goes silent as the bardic music begins to fill that void, fill that silence. And Bothrid just sort of under.
What are you thinking of right now?
It's almost as if retelling that dream has unlocked a part of me that was lost. I actually remember my father, my mother, my homeland, where I'm from. It's almost as if I now know who I am, or at least who I was before the Eladrin corrupted me and stole me, from what I can gather. But I remember my house, my land, my home.
That's real deep, Ander.
I knew I'd get the emotional support from you that I needed, Dagon.
Yeah, cheers.
I love it, Dalgon straight
That's rough,
in
mate.
with the slow burn again.
That's rough, mate.
It sounds like, well, if Lord Aerith was trying to take over your body, which seems like he was trying to do, that he must have been looking inside your memories and found something and dug deeper, and now it seems like that door has been opened.
I was going to say, did it seem like him wriggling around inside your brain has uncovered something you didn't know before, or was hidden from you?
Maybe he seems to have opened a door in my mind that I couldn't have opened myself.
I mean,
Every silver lining and all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does it make
you've had beings trying to mess around with your mind. Did it felt like the same? Did it felt similar? I know it's a painful memory, but
I'll be honest, actually, yes. One of my dreams was about my curse, my cursed period, and the voice, the similar voice that I used to hear from the sword, told me my soul belonged to Baal. I mean, I don't know who that is. But
History check.
Apparently, that's what he said.
Make me a history or religion check.
They are the
I'll
same.
take a
15.
Yeah, same.
This is turning into a therapy session now, isn't it?
17.
Okay. So as you hear the name Baal, Kirik specifically, it's a name you've not heard often mentioned. It's a god that was long sought or long seemed to have been defeated.
Oh, great.
You also know that Baal, wherever he's mentioned, is referred to as the Lord of Murder.
Oh, good.
Brilliant.
Worshippers of Baal have often been murder cults. Often when people want to commit a murder, they pray. When they premeditate the murders, they pray to Baal. But in the histories of the divine pantheon, you were of the understanding that Baal had long been defeated.
Are you sure that's what the name was?
Yep. I'll never forget that voice, and he almost snarled the word Baal out of his mouth. Why? What significance does that have?
Just looking back on my notes on something. Hold on.
Legend lore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Baal is a defeated god, a fallen god of murder, but it was to understand this to everyone's understanding that he'd been defeated, long gone. It does connect a piece that the sword would want to, well, extract blood, I suppose, if this banished wizard that created the sword was a worshipper of this god. Then it seems like...
How do you know a banished wizard created the sword?
Oh,
How
shit.
did you know that?
Fucking caught. There was a period of time where I took the sword from Dargon's bag because I wasn't fully trusting that it wasn't going to influence either of you. And if that sort of influenced Dargon at the time, it would have been a problem.
I mean, well, well done for lying. Actually, I'm pretty impressed that you actually managed to fool me.
I didn't. The subject never came up. I'm a terrible liar.
Can I inside check that bit?
You can.
Oh, 11.
I'm telling the truth. Like, I'm not lying. I am a terrible liar.
Well, to be fair though, Kirik, everything you've done since we've met has only ever been for the benefit of us, so if anybody could sort of, yeah, not a problem for me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you think so. Well, as soon as I could, I cast legend lore on the sword to learn its properties, and so I learned that it belonged to a banished wizard. The slightly bigger concern now is that obviously I gave that sword to the distiller before we left because I didn't want to be traveling around with it. Yep.
Yeah.
But since then, we obviously learned that she is apparently keeping some magic items.
Oh, do you think the sword is one of the artifacts?
It seemed quite powerful when it was in your possession, so it might be an artifact of something.
Is Baal one of the 12 gods?
I'm gonna assume he isn't, Matt?
No, I'll say with your check, you know that Baal, and actually the 12 refers to the 12 neutral or good deities.
Yeah,
Okay.
we would have noticed a temple to Baal in the keep, which we wouldn't have.
I never went into there.
No, the 12 are the gods that are vastly worshipped around Nylon. So,
Mr. Matthew, now I remember my life before the Eladrin. Mm-hmm. Does that give me any clues to King Gareth? So was I told stories of him as a child? Was there pictures, banners? Do I know his true name now? Clutching at straws.
Make me an intelligence check, please.
Come on. Here comes a 20, everyone. Ooh, 18.
18. You get snippets that come back as you sort of half concentrate on what Kirik's telling you, half concentrate on these sort of pieces of puzzles that you're beginning to put back together. And there was talks of a broken line that one day you will reform. Talks of a throne that was lost that perhaps one day would be yours, or maybe your sons would sit on it, or even your daughters.
Does that include illegitimate children I might not know about?
Any heirs and heir.
Okay.
that's true.
It's true that. Tell that to Jon Snow. Yeah,
The
sorry,
name
Gareth
Gareth didn't really come up as a name, but you were told that the crest of the Horn Raven was not your true family crest.
Ooh. Oh my god, we've actually, one of the theories we had on Malt Magic More last week, we've actually solved it just now. That has never happened before.
Tune in to Malt Magic More in about 3 days to figure out what that was.
Speaking of dreams, Ander, something you just said. 2 red eyes
Yes,
can only be the Eladrin.
of course.
Well, to shit on your dumplings, I also had a dream not too long ago on that ship before we went down.
Well, I'm going
The
to piss on
halfling
your
brings
chips
over some
'cause I also had a
dumplings and
dream on
then
the ship.
turns and takes them back.
Yeah.
Share.
So I'm gonna have to remember it now. It's been a while, but it's been a while. I was on a battlefield, looking up at a horrible black city. On the walls of it was this terrible demon-looking creature, horrible thing with wings and stuff, I think. But the important thing was 2 red eyes. Looking behind him, back onto the battlefield, this bright white light. It's pretty much all I can remember. But if you also remember what we've been told about Temael and Dawnbringer going up against something evil, I think I saw that happening. I don't know why I was given that this image, this vision, whether I was just conjuring horrible nightmares of stuff we've been told about before. But I do know that I saw another creature, another horrible beast.
So, do you think you had a glimpse into the past? Did you see the battle in the Black City, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, the way it looked sounded exactly the way the Black City's been described. So, yeah, quite probably.
Oh, that's strange, because I also had a dream whilst we was on the airship.
No bloody way.
I dreamt of...
Which family member do you kill
by...
in this one?
Well, there is a running theme here of family members appearing in my dreams that apparently I didn't know I had until I dream about them.
I just thought I'd jump ahead in the game on that one.
Maybe I'm a seer. Who knows? But yeah, so I was stripped. I was underwater. There was water all around, and then there was a sunken city, and then the face of King Geth flashes before me, and then it goes blue, black, red. There's a sound of screams and dying. So you called it Dagon. Somebody does die. Then there's an evil laugh in the background, and the face of Geth becomes the face of the Eladrin.
Blimey.
My theory, that sunken city is the sunken city of Esamir. Underneath the lake.
Didn't Feltag talk about that city?
Oh, he's turned off for the night. We're going to have to ask him about that tomorrow.
As it is.
What do you think it
Dogon,
means?
did you say the creature had red eyes as well?
I do remember that, because I'm just writing now, and I've got...
I had him as red-skinned, black horns,
it might have been that.
long tail.
Still.
Make me an intelligence check, please.
11.
You can't remember.
Yeah. He just looked like a horrible demonic creature. Wings and leathery skin, and I could have sworn red eyes, but maybe it's me mind playing tricks on me, but I think it is. Don't know. I think I remember a crown on his head, though. Again. Could be my dreams mixing together.
Well,
Does make me think of something Temael said first time we met him. But I'm not sure. Gonna have to sleep on it.
since we're sharing, I think the effects of that storm that was about to befall on us granted us all visions. I was plagued since that during that night with a vision of green flower, and well, we know what happened there, but I saw a sea of undead washing through the land, crossing the actual sea between green flower and here, and washing through the land.
You don't think that was a premonition, do you?
I am very much certain it was. Last time when I looked into green flower, I saw the undead just staying by the coast, seemingly waiting for passage. I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone coming to get them. I think they're just biding their time. There's clearly something that... There's a piece that whoever's planning this, we have our suspicions there's not the Eladrin, which begs the question who is. But there is something they're missing, and I think we need to find it before they do.
Do you think it's the prophecy they need?
Prophecy might be the key to it.
It's why
artifacts?
the Dark Eladrin wanted that bloody prophecy of us. You got to think that the rest of them is just as bad, just as valuable.
Do you think he serves the creature you saw in your dreams?
I mean, we've seen plenty of evil shite around, haven't we? I don't know who's working through.
I mean, Dargon, if you have a connection to Timael, I'd be surprised if the creature that Timael fought has also gathered some followers in the meantime.
That does make a worrying amount of sense. I feel like I need to ask Timael about that. I don't know whether either of you can remember, guys, but he said he was taken, bewitched by someone. That was why he was in Ironforge. I don't know whether you remember that.
I've died since then.
I wonder and worry that creature I saw was that very creature. I don't know whether you also remember, guys, but as Timael turned to show us into the other room, he had a mark on him, a crown and 2 horns. It's all seeming like it's connected.
You fucking plucked that out of your ass, didn't you?
Are you talking about Dargon or me?
You.
Somebody watched episode 7 or 8 or whatever it was.
Somebody's been listening to the podcast.
Yeah. Honestly, I got to that bit and I was like, right, write it down. Anyway.
Well, I think if that's the case, if we agree that this is what's happening, I think there's a very clear choice that we need to make here. There's 2 places that we want to go, that we know we need to go to.
They are.
They're not close. Taking on one would mean that we are delaying our arrival to the other. And I suppose we need to decide which one we're more comfortable with leaving for a while.
If I understand you correctly, the choice very seems we head to try and save Nylin, or we head to try and save our friends. The fate of the other one is at risk if we pick.
Yep.
I can't easily choose because Vraco is my friend.
Maybe we can bring the Malt Masters to travel to Phaliad. We don't know. I have a feeling that the people at River's End will not be too looking forward to crossing. But
if I remember rightly, the Archdeacon said his men wanted a true test. Can't we send them to fight the undead?
Well,
I know how much you two love killing the undead, but it's okay to ask for help.
It's certainly not a bad shout.
Anders says hypocritically.
Yeah, and I mean, if they're serving a code, then they should have an aversion to undead anyway. Perhaps not as strong as myself, but
They're already on the coast, nearly. They're pretty well suited to guard the coast.
Yes.
we can even just send them to see me. Is that the name of the town?
Send them to see me, but also just keep an eye on the coast, and there's a river right by Moonbright that goes out to the sea. They need to keep an eye on all of it and be ready for when it arrives. But
And any ship coming that way from the west, heading towards Seameat, and
River's End should do
that's-
the same down south. So we just need to make sure that's covered. We have to head north, or we have to head south to the forest or the mountains. We could always see if we could send someone else, or can we get a message through to the Feywild to find any allies who might be able to look after our friends?
I could ask my that, I suppose.
It might be worth a go, because if we can put one to bed for a bit, if they're okay, we may be able to get a handle on jumping ahead, getting a few steps ahead. We have clearly, for the past few weeks, been held back from our particular goal. You may even call it the last month. We have not been on our path to... Well, we've just been stalled, and we need to fix that.
Well, I think if we rest, and tomorrow I can get ready for perhaps sending messages across Nylon. It is probably good to touch base with the Malt Masters. It's been a minute since we've got back to them.
Yeah, just be careful what you tell them.
And they probably owe us our next payment. So there's that.
Well, technically, it's only been like 3 days since we've left the Malt
I think
Masters or
we've earned
something.
it, Kirik. I think we've earned it. We've been through some stuff.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
Glad to see you back, Ander.
Yeah, I can send a message.
you
I
miss
can send
me?
messages to. I can send messages to them. I can write to, Lena.
Lana,
That name?
Lena.
Yeah, Lena. Yeah.
Lena. Yep. I can write to Lena because I
That's how you
left.
have to
I
pronounce
left.
it as well. Lena. That's how she pronounces it.
I left one of the candles there, so I can get some more open, freer communication with her. There's a couple of questions I want to ask her anyway about some troubling things that I've been hearing. And
Speaking of that house down there, is it going to be safe?
well, the doors are closed.
True.
Again, I can send a message. I can tell Lena if she can just check. Say that Lord. I'll tell everything that happened with Lord Aerith, and
Yeah.
perhaps they can even. Well, if we limit them to the ground floor, because we haven't been able to explore the top floor yet.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Not quite.
Okay. So. Well, it looks like we're here for a couple of days anyway. Ananda, for the love of God, don't try and do anything magical.
No magic. I'll speak to the spirit before I go to bed, and hopefully, with a fresh head, some good sleep, we'll have more answers. Or at least less questions.
Yeah,
I'll be
because
happy with
we never ask a question and get only answers and never more questions. That's never happened.
Yeah, that's Matt's fault.
Well, look, maybe I'll ask Tim AL about this thing I saw, whether it was true or not.
I mean, there's got to be a story behind those markings.
Yeah, that there has.
And
Well,
yeah,
then I think a good night's sleep is awaiting us all.
and who knows? We'll probably have more dreams to talk about tomorrow over breakfast.
And I don't think this will be necessary, but just in case, it's better to be safe than sorry. I will kind of take a feather, a raven feather. I'm going to place it in front of him, and then I will
How many of those do you
reach. Too many, and then I'll reach out to both his hands, and the feather's going to get like burnt, and the smoke is going to kind of go into, inside your nostrils. I'm going to cast Death Ward, just in case.
I have total faith, just in case.
have?
Yeah.
You'll be fine. But what's Death Ward all about then? Stops me dying, essentially.
Yeah, next time you'd be reduced to 0 hit points, you get reduced to 1 instead.
Whee.
Hopefully that should buy us
Okay.
time.
Speaking of which,
So with that, as
Andy,
this
you
raven's feather burns, carry on.
and you felt all right since we've been back.
I've not had any more pain, but I feel like it's just an imminent thing that could happen at any point.
Is it worth us taking watch over you? Just to, just in case. I mean, I'm happy for you to get up and say that you're hurt. Come find us, but you may not wake up next time.
Is this a way of you asking you want me to sleep in your room with you?
Well, not all night, because I want to have some bloody sleep and all. It's more like to the other guys, should we take watch on him?
Happy to do that.
Let's do that then. Just keep an eye on you, and don't want you not waking up tomorrow morning.
I don't know how well I'm going to sleep with you creepily watching me from the corner of the room.
Oh, it's fine. I'll just be playing with dolls and stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, all right. If it'll make you feel better, Dan.
Okay. So you all head upstairs to your rooms. I'll say Bothrid takes the first watch over Ander, so everybody else can get some rest. Ander, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
And there it
Oh,
is.
fuck. I was just about to say I want to speak to the Dryad Spirit before I go to bed, but I might be dead. Hang on. 12.
You take 8 points of psychic damage.
Oh, bastard.
Got away with that one. Cool. So I'll say, before we get to the individual points, you all take a moment as you sit in your rooms and just look out the window, sort of out at the city of Moonbright, taking stock of everything you've just discussed, taking stock of the last couple of days' events. And a full moon has risen. And as it rises, and as you sort of look out into that clear night sky, the moon itself flashes red and then returns to white. Ander, you wanted to speak to your Dryad Spirit.
Yes, please.
What is it we
So-
would like to say to her?
I will just, I suppose, just sit on the end of the bed. I've took all my gear off, so I'm just sat on the edge of the bed. Spirit, I need more answers. I have more questions. Please, come to me now.
You have but to ask, Ander. You are whole again, almost.
What do you mean, almost? Oh, do you mean my spell sickness?
Is that what they are calling it? Oh, yes. What do you need from me?
I will cut to the chase if I may. I just wanted to know, I've recently learned about the two courts in the Feywild, the Seelie and the Unseelie, and I just wanted to know whether you had any allies in either one of those courts.
I had my allies a long time ago, but that is before the four of us broke free and made our own way.
Four of you? What did you break free from? The Seelie court or the Unseelie court?
Both courts have their restrictions, their rules, their laws. My three sisters and I went our own way. I bear no ill will to either court, least of all the Summer Court. Especially down to my nature, but it was important for me, for my sisters, to make that break.
So being an ex-member of the Summer Court, do you think we could count on them for help as we go through Failure Forest or into the Feywild, or would they not take kindly to us?
All Fae have that essence of trickery within them. It is the nature of the Fae. To trust any Fae is a whimsical notion.
Does that mean I cannot trust you?
You're getting wise, Ander. But I bear you no ill will. That has totally thrown me off. Messages coming up on screen. Forgive me. You have become something of a champion to me. Someone who I can help achieve important things.
Such as, do you have a specific mission for me?
No, but you already have your mission. And it is that which I agreed to help you with.
Do you have any contacts where we could potentially find the location of our lost friends, Captain Swift, Draco, and the crew?
The only ones I speak to now are yourself and my sisters. But if it is your desire to enter the land of the Fae, then you will find me there. Maybe I can be more of assistance in being.
Where would I find you?
In the grove.
Now, it's a pretty big forest. Is there going to be more than one grove?
Within the realm of Feyliad, as it exists now in the Feywild, there is only one Dryad's Grove.
Okay. And one more question, if I may. I'm recently learning more about myself, my past. but you seem to be able to see into the essence of me. Do you know who I truly am? What my true name is? I am not a horn raven, and I need to know who I am instead.
There is a power in names, Ander. And there is a power in the journey to discovery. This is something you must find for yourself.
I thought you'd say that. Okay. It appears we shall meet shortly.
The Dryad spirit. With that, the Dryad spirit begins to pull away, and you feel when the conversation is done, you make those sort of parting remarks. Look at Bothrid. Bothrid just nods. We'll say you retire for the evening, unless there's anything else you wish to do.
Alright. Nope.
Okay.
I'm too tired to read.
Anybody
or
else
to go to bed.
wishes to do? Sorry, Kirik, I didn't answer your question from earlier, which is, would you be able to read on that journey? Yes is the answer. I will say you get another 4 hours worth of reading.
Thank you very much. Well, I can go next.
Is anybody else doing anything? Yep, you can go next.
I would like to send I'll set up my candle, and I will send a letter to Lena. I will basically detail all the events from today and from yesterday, kind of finding Lord Areth, what he wanted to achieve. I will let her know that we kind of were teleported and ended up in the Shadowfell and back, and then I will just say that we are probably not going to be back for a while. We have explored the majority of the bottom floor apart from one room, and I'll detail which room that is. And I'll just ask her if she could just keep an eye on it, just to make sure that no one goes and get themselves hurt whilst in the house. And finally, very last thing I'll say in the letter is that if possible, I would like for her to either tell me as much as she can or point me in the direction where I can consult to learn about the veil that they protect.
Okay. So you're
and I'll detail
down on a.
Yeah, I'll detail to her that the Raven Queen has been telling me that sentence to guard the veil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you write all this down on a parchment. It sort of takes you 5-10 minutes to do it, and then you hold that parchment over the candle, and the parchment itself, even though you're holding it above the flame, just burns. A little bit of ash dusts on the table.
Cool. And having no idea if that works or not, I will take off my armor and sleep until I'm woken up to watch over Ender.
Okay. Dargon, is there anything you are doing prior to going to sleep?
Yeah, I'll attempt one more communication with Timiel before heading to bed. So, I'll get into bed, close my eyes. Timiel, I don't know whether you heard me earlier. I know you Must be busy. We finally had time to sit down and chat. And yeah, I want to ask you, first time we met you, you talked about being taken over. And we understand a little more about that, but not enough. I would love to hear it from you again, but I know it must be a hard story. But I believe that whoever it was who twisted them to their will is probably against us now. So as much as it may be hard, I'd love to know more about it, because I think it'll help us. I think I had a dream about whoever it was and the battle that you had against it. It all seems connected to what we're trying to do here. I hope you can provide us with some answers, if you know them. And maybe just fill us in on the story. See if it'll help us out. I know you may not want to now. So, whenever you feel you can tell us. But I fear that we won't get that much longer. Or that the information will help us now. Thank you again for your help earlier today.
Make me a persuasion check, please. With advantage.
That's one of them. 14.
As you lay there and close your eyes, the brand on your chest begins to warm. And in your mind, images, things begin to form. You look down and you see in your hand, not your hand, but a golden type hand holding a blade. The blade extends out in this sort of bronzish golden length, radiance glowing off of it. And as you look to your left and right, you see a battlefield. Figures with wings carrying similar weapons, adorned in bright shining armour, battling against creatures with dark skeletal wings, born of fire. And then in front of you, you see it, the creature that once stood atop the wall in your dream. And it smiles down at you as you swing your sword towards it, and it lifts up a mace and catches it. As it catches the blade, the other hand lashes out and grasps onto your arm, and you feel the lancing pain as two bright red eyes stare into your face, and that hand falls away, and on your arm now you see that marking, the crown with the two ram-like horns that bend up and over. And you feel your head, your chest burn with pain. And then you see the blade in your hand once more. And you look, and you see the crowned figure. And you begin to pace towards it. And the images end. And you then fall asleep. And I will say that is where we are going to leave it tonight.
Woo!
So after some crazy antics to begin with there, some plane hopping, and doing some fantastic rolls there. Bit of Rule of Cool coming in, but allowed me to express some new dynamics, I think. That for me has been a really interesting episode, so I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the journey thus far. If you do want to check out any of the past episodes, then go check us out on YouTube, go check out the podcast. Again, thank you to all those tools we've used, so Hero Forge, Incarnate, D&D Beyond, I'm going to forget some, Kassoon, 5e Magic Shop, all of them. We love you all. Huge shout out to Tabletop Audio and to Battle Bards as well. If you want any sound effects in your game, you've heard a couple of them tonight from us. But please go check out Battle Bards, use the code you can see on screen, get yourselves a discount off your own sound effects and just make your games more immersive. It's been a long one, so I'm not going to drag this out too much longer. Please do go check out the podcast, as I've said. Join us next week. We've been the Malt Magic crew. We love you all. We will see you next week.